So losing weight has always been hard for me, but it's much easier now that I'm microdosing a GLP-1. But it can still be a difficult process, especially because I have a good amount of weight to lose. So to make losing weight easier, I stopped counting calories, I stopped cutting out my favorite foods, and I stopped cooking. These are all useful for losing weight, but make the process harder for me. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I make weight loss easier by not doing the common things people say you need to do to lose weight, so you too can have an easier time achieving your weight goals. By the way, I'm Nico, nutrition coach microdosing tirzepatide to help control my binge eating and to lose a bit of vanity weight. Alright, so microdosing a GLP-1 helps with one of the hardest parts about losing weight, which is hunger and cravings. Now, I made it a point when I started microdosing to make weight loss as easy as possible for me. And I do that by not cutting out my favorite foods, cooking, and counting calories. These are all things I've done for years to lose weight before microdosing, but now I don't have to and I don't want to. Let's start with no cutting out my favorite foods or restricting food. Before I microdosed tirzepatide, I used to restrict food to lose weight because if I ate something tasty, I would always overeat and binge it. Then I would make no progress. So to fix this, I had to restrict all my favorite foods. And on top of that, it ruined my social life because I couldn't go out to eat at restaurants, which is a huge part of my life and something I just enjoy doing. And then usually after I lose the weight, I binge eat and regain some of it back because I just deprive myself from tasty food. But after microdosing, it changed everything. To give an example of the foods I've been eating since I started microdosing, this was like on the first week, I think. This is like some fried chicken. This is some sushi. On a vacation, I had a bunch of sweets like donuts, and then I had some food like noodles and other restaurant foods. And during the holidays, I ate just whatever I wanted to. And then recently I had some like loaded chicken tender fries, and then some Wagyu sliders, some truffle mac and cheese, noodles, a drink, and like a beet salad. Like I don't restrict anymore, and I eat all these foods and still lose weight. Now, I don't eat all the food in my pictures, just enough until I'm full and satisfied. I only had one binge eating episode, and it was with these loaded fries actually, but it's out of my system. So microdosing helps me eat the food I want and get satisfied without eating too much of it. Like before, I would finish a whole plate just to be satisfied because finishing my plate was just the thing I did. Now I can eat less than half and be more than satisfied. And this is exactly what I want. Now, of course, the shot wears off and I don't have much appetite suppression, but it's not that big of a deal since it only happens on occasion. Okay, so how do I do this and still lose weight? First, I restrict calories, not food. There's a difference. Like instead of cutting out donuts from my diet completely, I'll go from eating 4 donuts to like 1 donut. This is restricting calories, not food. And 80% of my diet is clean food, like lean protein, basic carbs like rice and fruit, healthy fats, and sometimes veggies because I'm bad at eating them. And 20% is whatever I want. So either more clean foods or fun foods, which is just the pictures I showed you. So junk food, fast food, desserts, and restaurant food. As long as I keep this 80-20 split, I'm good. I could eat more fun foods, but the issue with that is that it's sometimes hard to track my progress because of the water weight fluctuations and stuff. So that's why. Also, if I know I'm going to eat fun foods, I just try to plan ahead. So let's say I'm going out to dinner to eat some like fun food. I would try to eat less during the day. So maybe just like a protein shake or a lighter meal, and then save my calories for the dinner. Also, I find it helpful to look at the menu beforehand so I don't just pick too many random foods and increase my chances of overeating. All right, now let's go over no cooking. What I mean by this is I don't personally cook, not that I don't eat cooked food. I used to cook every single meal and even meal prepped everything for a while because I had more control of what's in my food and the amount of calories in it. But now I don't want to because I'm just lazy. Like not having to cook and clean dishes saves me time, and instead I can use that time to, like, I don't know, scroll on social media or something. I don't have anything against cooking. I actually really enjoy it. It's just, I don't want to do it right now. And a common thing you would hear people say when it comes to losing weight is to stop going out or eating out at restaurants. It's generally good advice for most people, but I don't like that advice because it really depends on what you eat. Before microdosing, I would cook chicken, steak, rice, real basic foods or food you would normally eat to lose weight. Now I just get the same exact foods, but at fast food restaurants and grocery stores, and they're just pre-cooked. So for example, at the grocery store, I can get some pre-cooked chicken, or this is like a salad bowl with some steak, just all pre-cooked foods. At fast food restaurants, I like to go to Panda Express and Chipotle. At Panda Express, I just get grilled chicken and plain white rice and then some vegetables. And then Chipotle, I also get chicken or steak and some beans and some rice. and then some sides too. There's actually a lot of pre-cooked food options you can get in grocery stores and fast food restaurants, which is really convenient. Also, in case you're curious, I post every day about what I eat in the YouTube post thingy, along with how I address specific microdosing problems. Okay, so if you want to do this, how would you? First off, I take it to the extreme. You for sure don't have to do this, especially if it isn't cost effective for you. The main reason why I do it is just to save on time, and it's also convenient for me. Like if I could have a personal chef that would grocery shop for me, cook all my meals, and clean my dishes, I would get one, but I can't, and this is the next best thing for me. So if you want to save on time from cooking, but don't really want to fully commit to buying all pre-cooked food, you could just have a few pre-cooked meals. Like if we do some math, let's say I cook 3 meals per day and each meal takes like 20 minutes to cook. That's 60 minutes or 1 hour a day spent cooking. Now in a week, that's 7 hours. If one of those meals was pre-cooked, then I would only be spending 40 minutes cooking per day. And in a week, it's like about 5 hours. So I get an extra 2 hours per week just by not cooking one meal. And those 2 hours I can spend doing other things like having more free time, running errands, or spending time with others. Like I could do a lot with an extra 2 hours. And of course you can meal prep and batch cook and all that. But like I said, I personally don't want to do all that because yeah, I just don't want to anymore. Also, one more thing when it comes to cost, I've saved money on food since microdosing, even when I go to restaurants and stuff, because I just eat less food. Like my meds pay for itself and then some. Also, I get a bunch of other benefits from tirzepatide, so it's worth the money for me. And plus the money I save can be used to buy more pre-cooked foods or whatever else I want. Okay, now let's go over no counting calories, which is a big one. I've counted calories and weighed my food for like 10 years or something and only stopped when I started microdosing. Now, just because I don't count calories doesn't mean I don't track and measure my food. I think tracking and measuring food is really important because it tells me what to change about what I'm eating if my weight loss starts to slow down. And there are other ways to track and measure food without counting calories and using a food scale. They're just the more common, popular methods. I wanted to do an easier method, so I use what's called hand portions. Hand portions are a way to measure food using your hands. So to give a quick rundown, a serving of protein would just be like the shape of the palm of your hand. Vegetables would be your fist. Carbs would be like a cupped hand. And then fats would be like a finger or a thumb. So I like this more than counting calories, but I want to make it even easier. And now what I do is fist and finger portions. So no cupped hands or anything like that. It's just fist and fingers. It's even more flexible and easier than counting calories and weighing food and using traditional hand portions. It's not as accurate, but it doesn't really matter for me because I just need to be accurate enough to lose weight. Okay, so how do I do it? I get my fist and I use it to measure my solid protein foods, carbs, and vegetables. For fats, I just use my thumb, but some people like using their index finger or 2 fingers. It doesn't really matter as long as you consistently use the same fingers. So to give you an example, this is a serving of chicken, and the chicken is just like the same size as my fist. And this is a serving of vegetables and it's just shaped to the size of my fist. And this is salad dressing, which is mostly fat and it's shaped to the size of my finger. Fist and fingers is relative to the size of the person. So a big person has big fists and a small person has small fists. Now, if you're a big person and have small fist or vice versa, that's fine because you can just make adjustments. We just need a way to consistently measure and track food, then make adjustments if needed. So overall, this method is great if you hate or don't want to count calories anymore or use a food scale like me. I just only use this method when I started microdosing, and I can't see myself going back to counting calories again. I have nothing against counting calories. If you like it, then just stick to it. I think it's more important to find whatever measuring and tracking method works for you. But if you do count calories and macros, you could easily transition to fist and finger portions and vice versa. Anyways, that's the video. Hope this makes your weight loss easier. Thanks for watching. Bye.